In this tutorial, we're going to recreate a popular website called Asos or ASOS.com. And it's a fashion website. You're going to see it in just a second. And we're going to recreate it using the Neve theme, Elementor, Gutenberg, and Otter Blocks for Gutenberg. And my name is Bjorn Allpass for ThemeIsle, and we're getting started right now. This is the site we're going to recreate today. It is a big website. So we're not going to recreate all of it because that'll take forever, but we are going to do the homepage, including the header. We have five different sections in the header. This top bar with the white, this middle black bar, the gray navigation bar, 2 sales calls to action, a lot going on in the header. Then we have our minimalist content in the middle where we create all this and the functionality like the hover, color changes aren't too many different hover options or hover effects like that. But we're going to recreate what's in the middle, the actual content, and then the footer at the bottom as well. And we're going to do this on this website. Brand new WordPress install, nothing going on here yet. I've installed this locally using Local by Flywheel. The theme we're using is the Neve theme. It has a lot of options, but it's still very fast. And a great feature it has is Elementor templates that you can import into your website and then edit with Elementor. Plugins we currently have installed, Elementor and Elementor PRO. That'll be the page builder we use. We have Gutenberg blocks and template library by Otter. We may use this to build a blog post at the end of the video. We use Optimal for image optimization and WooCommerce and WooCommerce Stripe Gateway for payment. We may not use that, but I have it here just in case because we are recreating an e-commerce website. So this may come in handy, but we may not use that in this tutorial. And I've already created the menu. This menu is what you see in this light or dark gray bar up here. I just created these very simply by just putting a hashtag in the custom link here and then just add the text for the menu or the menu item. Click on add to menu. It adds the next one at the very bottom. You can drag and drop it to wherever you like. And that's all I did. These aren't actual pages I built. They are just placeholders. I'm going to delete this one because like I said, we're not recreating the whole site. We're recreating the design of the site and the home page. So it would be no point in creating all these pages. Save menu. Make sure we have that saved. Last thing before we get started, if you are following along, you do want to create an e-commerce site, but you're not sure what to name it or what to get for a domain name. A cool tool you could use is Domain Wheel, which allows you to generate domain names. So if you were selling, say, running shoes, you can type that in here, click on Search Domain, and it will give you a bunch of available domain names that have running shoes in the URL. So whatever you type in here is going to be in your URL or in the domain name, and you can pick different ones. It allows you to generate lots of ideas quickly, and there's a lot of options for more creative things like sounds like or random suggestions. So if you're having trouble picking a domain name for your next project, check out Domain Wheel, might be helpful. The very next thing you need after you pick an awesome domain name is a hosting account. A hosting account is where your website files are stored. It's basically a hard drive on the internet that contains your website. And there's a great deal we've negotiated for you. The details to that are in the description down below. So if you need hosting, make sure you check that out. Now let's close a bunch of these pages after I've shown you all that so that we can get into building our website. So let's go to the dashboard, and I'm actually going to make this half screen to make it a little more efficient because we're going to recreate this header, this menu system at the bottom here. And instead of going back and forth between tabs, we can just refer to it down below. Once we're in here, let's click on Templates and Theme Builder. And then we'll click on Add New Template. I'm going to choose Header as the location. It's going to call it Site Header. Click on Create Template. I'm not going to pick anything from the library. I'm just going to click X. So now we have our section up here. This is what the bottom of the site looks like, and we're creating the header at the top here. And we're going to start just by adding a section with a bunch of columns. So I want to start with, on this site, if you scroll to the very top of the site down here, we have the header bar at the top. So I'm just going to add 3 columns, one for Marketplace, Help and FAQs, and the flag. Let's add a 3-column section. We'll adjust those in a minute. We're not going to adjust those right now. I'm also going to add this section right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns for all those items in that darker menu. So I'm going to add a 7. That's a 6. That's close enough. Let's just add one more. Now we have 7 in that row. And then down below it is the menu system. Let's just add a section for that right now while we're at it. And then we have these guys here, 3 columns, because we have a link for women, call to action in the middle, and a link for men. So let's make a 3-column section. And then this one down below can just be a 1-column full screen call to action. So this is the basic design of our header. Let's go to the top so we can see what we're looking at. And now we're going to go in and customize it. So first things first, let's deal with the colors. The background for the top one is going to be white, so to keep that as white. The background for the second one, if I use this color picker extension here, built right into Chrome, Firefox has one as well. Click on any color on the site, it finds it, copies it to the clipboard. Then we go, click the 6 dots and go to Style and Background Type, click the little paintbrush, change the color, paste in our color. Now we have that menu color right there. Now the second one is that dark gray, or sorry, light gray. First one's the dark gray. Pick a color again. That picks the pink. Let's do the pink one then. Pink one first. So click these 6 dots again, go to Style, Paintbrush, Color, Pink. Now let's try to get the light gray one. Pick from Page. We can see the color show up in this little box here, so you know when you're on the right one. Or the wrong one, for that matter. Click the 6 dots up here, Style, Background Color. Now we have our basic color setup. White, dark gray, lighter gray, pink, and the one below it is an image, or I'm going to use it as an image, do it as an image, so we're not going to pick a color for that one. Let's keep it as white. And now we are going to go ahead and adjust these columns and add some content. So we're going to do the word marketplace first, right up here in this box here. So I'm going to add just a text widget for that one. You don't want to add headings up here because headings are used for SEO purposes, and you don't want to have a menu system full of headings because that's not where headings belong. They're not really headings, so don't put them there. In here, let's type in marketplace. And there we go. Go to Style, Typography, reduce the size a little bit. That's pretty good. And make sure it's centered. And I think that's actually pretty solid already. I'm going to add a border to the right because this section here has borders on the right and left. So let's go to border. We want to have it be solid. And width of, click this link here, otherwise we'll go put a border around the whole thing. We want a width of 1 pixel on the right and 1 pixel on the left. We want to change the color to be a lighter gray, about like that. See how that looks. Not quite what I had in mind. A little darker gray. There we go. That's more visible. There's a gap on the top and the bottom because this text widget, or this element area, does not fit the entire height of this section. To fix that, click on the 6 dots and change the columns gap to no gap. And now we have it right to the top. And now we're going to just have a negative margin on the bottom to pull that area up. Oops, click the wrong one. Click the 6 dots. Go to the section settings, go to advanced, click the link for margin. For bottom margin, just keep pressing down until the section below it is where it should be. Then I'm going to change the Z index to make this section go behind the second one, because the blue box is a section of the first, overlaps with the second. So if we click anywhere in this region, it's going to select the box on the top, not the menu down below. So we'll make this Z index of 0, and then it goes behind. You can also change this Z index for the second one to 1, and then it'll go above. You can do it a bunch of different ways. But I'm just going to make that a 0 Z index. I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, and I'm going to call it Help and FAQs. And the next one, I'm just going to add an icon. We likely don't have the fancy flag, but we're going to find something similar. Let's just make it a checkered flag like that. Let's make the color kind of a light Let's try to get the same gray as the text or as the font. And then the size, reduce the size so it fits. There we go, that's pretty good. And I'm gonna add a little bit of padding on these elements because they're a little squished up there. So let's add a top of 10 pixels. Let's make that 5 actually. And the bottom of 5. Then change the negative margin to be less than what it is. There we go. I'm gonna copy and just paste the style and paste this style. I'm going to turn the border right off for Marketplace because we have the border left of the other one. That's in that area, the one right here. And turn off border right for the second one. There. And let's just bring this up a little bit more to right there. That's pretty good. Going to add one more column. This is going to be an empty column just to make everything squish over to the right side. Drag and drop, or drag, and not drag and drop, drag and pull to make these menu items a little thinner. There we go. There's our top bar. Next, we have over here our logo. We don't have a logo, so I'm just going to add text editor. I'm just going to call this Recreator, because that's what we're doing. We're recreating things. And then we have, so let's copy this. We have right here women, and let's copy that. Paste the next one and call it men. Quickly adjust the styling for these. So this one I'm going to try to style pretty close to what they have. Center this, typography, font family. They use, I don't know what their menu, what their logo is actually. They use Futura or Futura, I don't know how to pronounce it, for the words. So I'm just going to try to get as close as I can. Let's make it uppercase. Let's make the color white. Let's make it bolder. Let's see, weight, bold. Let's make it a bit bigger. There we go. That's going to have to do. Let's click on the column icon and give that one a border under style. Border solid, right. Got to click the link first, and then right, and give it a color of a light gray. There we go. Now we have a border right here. We can't see it yet, but it's there. Now click on these 6 dots again, and let's make the content position middle. So everything's in the middle there. You can see the border now. And let's move over. Let's move the women over by centering them. And we will also give that column, no we won't actually, because we have the women is all black in the background and the men has the light gray background. So we'll make the men background light gray in just a minute. For the women, let's quickly change the typography, give it color white, font family for Dana, weight bold, transform, uppercase, size a little bit smaller. That's pretty good. Now let's copy. Paste style, boom, men is done, almost. Let's just get the color of this menu down here, or this section. Copy that color, click on the column icon. Oh, I did some stuff there. Click on the column icon for the men, click on style, paintbrush for the background, color, paste in our color here, put the hashtag. I didn't copy that. Just erased it anyway. Okay, put a hashtag in front of that, otherwise it won't work. And now we have our men created. I'm going to change this border color to be the same color. So click on the column icon, change the border color to that same color that we just copied. And there we go. Let's click out of that. So now we have our menu here that looks pretty good compared to theirs. Looking good. A little bit bigger than theirs. Let's reduce the size of these guys. Now we're going to add the search bar right here. Elementor Pro has a search form widget. So we just drag and drop that right into there. Now we have our search form. Doesn't look quite the same, but luckily there are some skins we can choose from. We want to have the minimal skin. This is what I was talking about earlier, where it's not going to be exactly the same as theirs, because Elementor puts the search icon on the left, and on their example, it's on the right. So that can be changed with a bunch of CSS work, but we're not going to change it in this case, because I think the difference is so minor that it's acceptable to have that on the left and not the right. For the placeholder, let's copy what they have. Search for items, brands, and inspiration, and reduce the size of that a little bit because it's within the dark area. Now we want to add more rounding. So let's go to style. And let's adjust the border radius. There's a max. We're going all the way up to 200, but nothing's changing because it has maxed out the radius. So just max it out. If you want to get it exactly to the max, just wait, or just go until it stops changing, which is about here, about 20 pixels. And now we have the pill-shaped search, just like they have on theirs. Theirs is a little bit bigger because we still have to add these icons on the right-hand side, which we'll do right now. And then there would be a bit more space for the search bar. Let's look up icons again. The closest one I've found to being an acceptable human for this is child. You can't really tell it's a child in the icon. I think it's fine. We are going to change the style, primary color of white, and change the size to be about like that. That's pretty good. And then we're just going to copy this. Copy, paste it over here. We're going to change this icon to a heart. We have one of those, I'm pretty sure. There's a heart. And we're going to paste it over here and add a suitcase. We have one of those, I'm pretty sure. We do, but it's filled in instead of an outline like theirs, but it'll do. Let's change the width of these to squish them right over. Get some more space for our search bar. Okay, there we go. Now we have, I think, done a pretty good job on this secondary menu with the search bar, copying theirs. Now we're going to add the menu system down below. Like I said earlier, this is a menu I already created. So all we have to do is add the nav widget, the nav menu widget. Plop that in there. I missed, try it again. Plop that in there. Pick main menu, which is the menu that I created. That's what the name I gave it. We've added it right there. Now we want to change the size because these words are quite a bit bigger than theirs. So let's change the size of the text. Shrink that down. It's pretty good. Let's change the text color to white. And now that's actually pretty solid already. One thing you'll notice is that outlet, actually first on hover, we have this effect that we do not want. So on hover, the pointer, let's change that to background, and we're going to make the color white. So go back to style and then go to hover and change the pointer color to white and the text color to the gray that we used up above. Should still be in my clipboard. There's the gray. So now when we hover, we change the background to white and the color to the color that is the menu for the text. I want to change the gap as well because we want the hover to take up the whole area. So click on these 6 dots, go to layout, change the columns gap to no gap. And now we have our menu system here with no gap at all. And outlet has some fancy styling, as you can see here. The way we do that is with custom CSS. In the advanced tab, we want to add a class. We're going to call this main menu. And this is going to allow us to select the entire main menu. And then in the custom CSS section, I'm going to paste in this code. This code will be available somewhere, or it's not very much. You can just write it from the screen. But hopefully I'll be able to put it in the description or link to somewhere, so you can just copy and paste it. But it's added now our skewed color, or our skewed background with the same color they have. And there you go. You just copy and paste that. So now, for all intents and purposes, this section is complete. The next section we have is this bar here, the pink one, with women on the left. When you hover over, there's a slight transparency or a slightly lighter color. And then we have our 40% off in the middle and the men on the right. So to do that, I'm going to get the button widget, drag and drop that right into there, change the text to women. I'm going to keep everything else as it is except for alignment. I will center it. Go to style, change the background color to be transparent. We're going to add a border, solid, give it a width of, that looks pretty good, a border radius of 0. Make the corners sharp. If you don't do that, you'll notice there's a slight rounding of the corners right up here, very slight. Make that 0. Now there's no rounding. Going to change the color to a green. I don't really care if it's the exact same green. Get it pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close. We're going to copy this because we're going to use it for the font as well. So the text color should be that same green. There we go. And it's slightly smaller than this. Let's change the size to be a little bit smaller. It's pretty good, I guess. I'm going to add some padding, or change some padding, I should say. The top, I'm going to make 5 pixels, top and bottom, and left and right 10. The border width is a little big for what they have. Let's try a 2. I think that's pretty good. And the font, I want to bold. I think that's pretty solid. Just actually going to add a little more padding on the left and right. Let's make that 15. There we go. Now I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, change it from women to men. Boom, that's done. In the middle, we're going to add just some text widget. I'm going to put the text in that they have, up to 40% off, new season. Style, center it. Text color, same as we have on the buttons. Typography, let's make it a little bit smaller. Make it bold. And there, I think we got pretty close. Like I said, we don't have the same fonts, but I think that is pretty darn close. Our header up here is looking, I think, pretty legit compared to theirs. Pretty darn close. The last thing is just this section up here. You notice that's the exact same text as right here. So I'm just going to copy this. Make life easy. Paste that in there. I'm just going to change some colors. First, I'm going to change the typography. Make it bigger. Change the font family to something else. Looks pretty good. Make it italic. Style. Italic. So if I make this even bolder. Looks pretty good. Make that a little bit smaller. And then down below they have a tiny piece of text. Let's just make this white already. It's going to be white on white, so you can't see it for a little bit until we add the background. Let's just add another text widget below that one and use the text they have. See banner above for full terms. Center it. Don't make it white yet. We can't see what we're doing. Let's make it nice and small. Now make it white. And now we just add the background. I'm going to click on the 3 dots for the section. Go to Style, Background Type, click on the pencil or the paintbrush, click on Add Image. I'm just going to drag and drop the background image into there. There we go. Click on Insert Media. Right now I've uploaded this image. We can see it on the left here. There's only 1 button in the original. There's 2 in this one, so it's being repeated. We need to change the repeat to no repeat. And then we need to change the size to, let's try cover. So now our header is looking pretty darn good compared to their header. And it takes a while. It took a while to create that header. One thing I see right now is there's a gap between the men and the search bar, but we have no gap here. So let's just change that. Click on the search bar, pencil, go to advanced. Let's add a margin. Click on the link and then margin left of 10 pixels. Now we have a bit of a gap there. Now we're going to go ahead and save. Finally, after all that, click on Publish. Add a condition. Where should this template be shown? The entire site, because it's the header. So click on Save and Close. And now if we head out to the main site, let's just go and preview this thing in a new tab. I think our header looks pretty solid. The search bar could use a little more space in there, even the height of this area, this whole top section, a bit bigger. Let's just quickly adjust the height of this thing. Let's give it a min height of much smaller than that. Let's do it about that big. Often as you're creating these things, you don't see every little detail as you're doing it, but then you see it later on when you compare them. Now that we changed the height of this, our border on the right side of this column, of the Recreator column, is not quite right. So let's change that by going to, or clicking on the border icon, go to Advanced, click on the link beside padding. Let's give it a top of, just going to press up until we get somewhere we think is correct. Let's try 11. And a bottom, let's try and get this dotted line, this dotted box, to be the same height as the element in the back. 13. I want the top and bottom to be equal. That'll mean centered vertically. So if we do 12 and 12, it's not quite high enough. Maybe you can't really tell. I think there's 1 pixel difference on the top. You can't really tell. But we have a padding of 12 pixels on the top and the bottom now. I'm just going to save this and see how it looks. Come back out here. It auto refreshes now. Nice new feature in Elementor. There we go. Looks much better with the extra height. I think we pretty much nailed it. There we have our header recreated. Now let's do the footer. We're going to make the footer down below using Elementor because it's a lot easier that way. You can do it with the theme because it provides widget areas, 1, 2, 3, 4 widget areas across the bottom. But you need to have custom CSS to make it look like this one. And if you want to know how that CSS works, you want to see that, leave a comment in the comments down below just saying you want to know the CSS for the footer, and then we can figure that out. But from my experience, if you guys are watching a video with page builders, you don't really want to do CSS. So we're just going to skip the CSS for now, and we're going to exit back out of here, and we're going to create a footer template. Go to Theme Builder again, click on Add New, select Footer. Let's call it Site Footer. Click on Create Template. Going to close out of here so we have a blank screen. For the purposes of recreating the link options, I created 3 menus, which I created the same way as before, just custom links, super simple. For the 4th one, I did not create a menu because that's only 1 item and we don't have the translation plugin installed or configured to be able to translate, so we're just going to add basic text for that in our example. So we have our widget here, blank, click on plus, we're going to add 4 columns. And that'll be this 4-column section here. And at the very bottom, we have the bottom footer, the copyright area. We have the logo and the copyright on the left, or the year on the left, and then links on the right. So we're going to create a 3-section column. And the middle section is going to be the spacing between the other 2 sections. Just find it easier to do it that way. So for this, we are going to add a nav menu. Let's drag and drop that right in here. We're going to choose the Help and Info navigation menu. I'm going to change the layout from horizontal to vertical. We're going to see what kind of options they have. So for on hover, it just goes blue. So we're going to have the pointer be none. Head over to Style. And typography, we're going to make it Open Sans. Again, we don't have the font they're using. We're going to make it maybe 400 approximately. The size a bit smaller than they have. Not smaller than they have, but a bit smaller than we have. So it's the same as theirs. That's about right. And then on hover, currently we go to green. Let's change that. Default functionality. The hover color needs to be kind of a blue. I think that's pretty close. Pretty close to what they have down here. Need to make some alignment changes. Got to change the space between the words. Got to move it all the way to the left side of this widget area. So the horizontal padding to 0. We'll move it to the left. And the vertical padding should change the space between the words. Let's change it to about like that. And for the footer, we can add a heading. I think headings are okay in the footer. It's going to be a lower one though, maybe an H5. I'm going to change it to help and information. See if we can pick that color. I bet it's the same color as the menu at the top, but we'll just pick it again. Watching this box right here to make sure we get the right color. Go into style, change the color to this one. There we go. Probably change the link color to that too, huh? Let's change the text color in the links to that as well. There we go. That looks pretty well aligned. The text up here has got to be uppercase. Let's go to typography, transform, uppercase. And I always copy that over here 3 more times and we're good to go. So to copy it, right click on the column icon, click on copy. It's going to add another column, so delete the extras at the end. Let's just paste that one there and paste another one. And paste another one. Now we have 4. Let's get rid of the extras. Delete that and that and that. I'm just going to change the heading and the menus for all of these. You don't have to watch it step by step, so I'm just going to fast forward through this because it's the same as we did on the first one. And now this last one is not a menu item, so I'm going to delete the menu. And I'm going to get a text widget. Drop that in there. And I'm going to say you're in Canada, change. And I'm going to spell Canada correctly and make change all caps. So let's make this font a little bit smaller. That's pretty good. Just going to add some padding to the top here because this one, the widget's the same height, but these guys have a little bit of padding at the top. So I'm going to add some to this text widget over here. Click the links so we can edit these individually. Just add some padding to the top. Just eyeball it. I think that's pretty good. I need a background color. This color is, I don't know what it is by heart or off by just by looking at it. So I'm just going to copy it using our color selector again. Click on the 6 dots for the widget area. Go to style, paintbrush, color, paste it in here. Boom, done. Going to add some padding to the top. So we have some space between the words on the top of that menu. Looks like they also have some padding at the bottom, but the same. So let's put 24 on the bottom. Boom. Footer widget, footer menu area, done. Second one. Let's get this color first. Click on the 6 dots for the second section, style, pen, color, paste, boom. Over here, we're going to add a text widget or a text editor. And we're going to call this and copy. Let's make that lowercase. And copy 2019 Recreator. Just going to copy this one over. Paste it in there. Privacy and cookies, T's and C's, short for terms and conditions, and accessibility. I'm going to align these, or that one to the left, and I'm going to make the font a little bit smaller to be more in line with what they have. It's quite a bit darker than mine, so let's make it that. Then let's copy and then just paste the style over here. I have to change this to be aligned to the left. Then we can add this width in the middle or not, doesn't really matter. In fact, we can even get rid of the middle one. I said earlier we could use it, but we don't really need to because we have these aligned to the left and to the right. But what we can do is center these. So if you click on the widget, center them vertically, that's what I mean. Go to layout, go to content, position, and choose middle. And they adjust a little tiny bit. You see it was top and it's like 1 pixel down. So not very much, but at least now it's middle. And now we have our footer completed. Let's click on publish. Where do you want it to display? Click on add condition on the entire site because that's the footer. Click on save and close. Now let's check out our page out here. We have our nice header. Let's refresh. And now our footer down here should also be leveled up and copied to what theirs is. There we go. Boom. Footer is complete. The footer was a lot faster than the header. I can tell you that much. And you probably noticed, but it's a lot faster. And we could adjust it even more. We could add more spacing. Theirs is out a little farther than ours, a little more gaps between them. Those are kind of minor details that really will depend on what kind of site you're building. So you're likely not going to rip off the site exactly, but you can add spacing using padding and adjusting column widths and things like that, which we've seen throughout this video. So just do those and adjust the width to however you need it for your site. And now what we need to do is put the content in the middle. Because right now we just have this blog post and a sidebar. And what we want to have, let's make this big screen again. Now the last thing we have to do is actually add content onto the page. And the content we're going to put there is what we see here. These images across with the full width bar, this big button right here, these two images, and the header image at the top. We could quickly and easily do this with Elementor, but we're going to try something different and do it with Gutenberg and the Otter Blocks plugin, because the Otter Blocks plugin adds some really cool stuff that allows us to create pages like this with Gutenberg. It won't be exactly the same, but it's going to be pretty darn similar, and that's really what we're going for here. So let's head back to our website and exit this Elementor editor, and we're going to go to Pages and then Add New, and we have a brand new blank Gutenberg page. I'm just going to call this Home Page. And I'm going to start by adding a section right away. Now, section is not something you normally see in Gutenberg because it's added to it by Otter Blocks. If you just search for Otter, it shows us all the Otter Block widgets. There's sections with different column amounts, column widths, advanced headings, about author, group button, font awesome icons, Google Map, plugin card, posts, sharing icons, pricing, service, and testimonials. And most of these widgets come with a lot of settings that allow you to customize what's being displayed. For example, the advanced heading allows you to change the color and font size and font family of the text, whereas the heading in Gutenberg does not give you that capability. And that's kind of basic capability. You think that would be included, but it's not. So we'll be using the advanced heading a lot, but first we're going to click on section. And here we pick the section layout. Now at the very top of our demo site, we have this full width image. I've already added all the images to the media library of the website, so we're just going to be adding these and do it rather quickly. So we're going to add this image at the top. We're going to have 90s newness as the headline and then shop the trend as the button. So we're going to add a full section. And right now there's a sidebar on the right hand side. Going to get rid of that. Click on document. Click on no sidebar. Click on full width to make the content full width. Now we have our section here where we can add stuff. Let us add the headline. Going to use the advanced heading. Going to call this 90s newness. Then I'm going to add a button, and I'm going to make the link just a hashtag. The button text will be shop the trend, and the button style will be this one. Center it, center the headline, add a background to the section by going to Style, Background Type, Image, choose a background image from the media library, and it's going to be this one. Click on Select in the bottom right, click on Background Settings, choose No Repeat. In this case, if it has repeats, it's going to keep on repeating the image if the image isn't big enough to fit the size of the container. You can choose No Repeat and cover for the background size. Going to increase the font size of the heading a little bit, not quite that much. So what you'll notice is right now the words overlap his hat, but when we save this and go to the front end to see how this looks, there will not be any overlap. And that's because Gutenberg is not really what you see is what you get. If you build this in other page builders, if this overlaps the hat on the person, it will on the front page. Gutenberg, it probably will not. So let's just see how this looks. Let's save draft. Let's click on preview. We see there is no overlap in the hat. But our image isn't quite as tall as the original, which is quite tall. We see this full body in the standing one. So we got to make this quite a bit taller. Let's go back into the editor here and let's change that. Select the section and then go to layout. Let's add some padding till we see his full body like that. That's pretty good. And we can also adjust for responsiveness. So we have this little screen here. We can change different devices and change for responsive settings, which is quite nice. So now we have this header image. Let's add the next section. We have these two, the rainy day hat and the tattoo suit, and this text below it, below each one, and a button. So let's add those. Let's click down below here, add a new section, make it 2-column. I'm going to add an image to this first one. Pick one from the media library. It's going to be this one here. Click on select. Let's add an image right now to this one on the left, or on the right, sorry. Same idea, media library. It's going to be this one here. Click on select. We have both images in here, and below these two we're going to add the heading. Let's go back to our page here. Heading, small piece of paragraph text, and a button. So I'm going to copy this text in preparation for adding a heading down below this image. Let's click on the plus icon. I'm going to add the advanced heading. It's going to paste in the text we have. And the other one was glow up goods. Interesting term. Not one I've heard before. Okay, glow up goods. Awesome. Then below that, we're going to add a button. And it's a regular Gutenberg button. We're going to change the style to the outlined one. Change the text to shop now. Make the link a hashtag. And we're going to center this. And we're going to center the paragraph text. And we're going to center the heading. I'm going to make it an H3. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Nailed it. Now we have that section completed. Next section is this black button saying buy tax, get 15% off your order with the code CA15. That is excellent. So let's add a new section, full section, and for the block I'm going to add advanced heading again. The text will be get 15% off your order with CA15. I'm going to make this an H3. I'm going to center it. I'm going to increase the font size, not that much. Increase the font size. I'm going to change the background color of the section to black. I'm going to change the color of the text to white. And the section, I'm also going to adjust some padding. Get the padding down to 0. Take the margins out. Not negative, let's just make the margin 0. And I'm going to adjust the padding a bit so we center the text for the headline. So let's go to advanced and then click on this 4-way arrow. No, click on this link to break the link and add padding to the top. That's quite a bit. See if I can make padding smaller. No, the padding's already 0 at the bottom. So padding at the top, a little bit more just to center it. Looking pretty good. Click on Save Draft to save our work as we go because you don't want to lose your work. And now we're going to do the next section, which is this pink section with these images right in here and has text above and a button below. So let's build those. Before we go back into the editor, I'm going to grab this pink color by clicking on our color picker, pick color from page. Let's get this pink copied, go back into our editor, and we're going to add a new section. I'm going to make it 4 columns, 4 even columns, 4 equal columns, however you want to say it. And I'm going to open the section options. Going to make the background color of the section the pink we just copied. There we go. And each of these sections in the middle, I'm going to make white. So let's go into their options, make the background color white. And I'm going to add an image. Go to Media Library. The first image was the clothes laid out on the floor or a table. This one here. Select that. Then just as before, we're going to add a headline. And the headline will be Looks for City Weddings, and Break the Dress Code is the text below. So let's add the advanced heading. Quite like that one. Looks for city wedding, and then add a paragraph. Break the dress code. I'm going to reduce the size and actually reduce the heading value. Make that an H4. Size reduced quite nicely. And there we go. That one is more or less done. And now I'm just going to recreate the other three the same way. I'm going to fast forward it so you don't have to sit through it. So you're going to see how it's done, but we're not going to be talking. It's going to be fast forward. So let's do that. There we go. This section is more or less completed. And this image that keeps swapping, that's an animated GIF. I just downloaded it right from the website. You can use online tools to make animated GIFs if you want to make them. So this is not something fancy I did. It's just an image that they created. Now I want to add the heading above and the button below. If you recall, this is what they are: style feed, style, grooming, inspiration, advice. I'm going to copy this one because it's quite long. Copy that. Style feed is the top. So let's add that in. We are going to click down below this section and add another section. Make it full width. Going to move it up. Going to click on, hang on, I already have this text in here, so let's put that text right there. Click on the section options, and I want to change the background color back to the pink that we have here. So let's select that pink. Copy that. Section settings. Add the pink. There we go. And this one I actually want to have be the advanced heading, so I can make the text white. The style feed is the main headline. Make that white. Center it. Right down below that, we want to add this text. Make it white. Center it. Let's not make these H2s. Let's make this one H3. Kind of arbitrarily choose the H's for that one. Make it a bit bigger. This one got to be H3. Make the font a bit smaller. And there we go. Now we have that information in there. We do have a gap between these two. If we save the draft and then click preview, we're going to see two things. One is we have a lot of adjusting to do in regards to spacing, because like I said earlier, Gutenberg is not what you see is what you get. So you have to do a lot of adjusting, a lot of back and forth afterwards. And two, there's going to be a gap between those two pink sections that we want to eliminate. So let's scroll down. See, these images are quite large compared to the originals. And we have this gap right here that we want to get rid of. To do that, we have to go into the section settings. We're going to go to layout, margin and padding. Because we're on the top one, we're going to have a margin bottom of 0. And then if we go to this one over here and we go to layout and then margin and padding, we want a margin top of 0. Now let's save the draft again and see if that fixed our gap. Scroll down the page and now we see our gap here is gone. We still have to adjust the spacing here. We can add some padding on the left and the right of these columns, and then that should squish them together and make them more the proper size, not have this white space on the right hand side. But we do have to add the button down below. So let's just duplicate this section and let's move it down and make sure in the section settings, go to padding and margin, make the margin top 0, and then in the middle one, the sandwich one in between, make sure its margin bottom is 0 to eliminate the gap. And here we're going to delete this section or delete this block. Delete this block as well. Then we're going to add a button. And the button will say view style and news. Link's a hashtag. Design is this. Make the text color of the button white. And we can't change the border color of this button, so Gutenberg has let us down in that regard. So let's have Otter Blocks come to the rescue, and they have a widget or a block called button group, which implies there's multiple buttons, but you can change the button number to be just one. So we have one button, and we can edit the text of the button to be what we have down below. Color of the text is white. Color of the border should be white. The background color should be transparent. There's no border set, set a border width of 1. And now we're, oh, not quite what they have. So they have a white background, black text. And then when you hover, they have white text on a black background. And there we go, we hover over and we have more or less the button that we want. Let's center it and let's change the padding. There's a lot of extra space on here. So let's make the padding top and bottom be 0, not 200, 0. And that should be pretty good. Let's save draft and then preview and then scroll down to where we're working. And we have no gap, we have our button here. And again, we have to adjust some spacing and things, but more or less it's pretty solid. So let's add in the last section, which goes right at the very bottom. And that will be this one here. 3 images, pretty much the same as this one up here. Let's see if we can adjust. I think we can. Let's just duplicate this. And let's move it down. Down again, down again, down again. That's at the very bottom. I'm going to adjust the number of columns to be 3. Now we have our 3 columns, and we have the hoodie, the sunglasses, and the serious couple. So let's change these images by clicking on the pencil. Add the hoodie, click on select. Next one over here, click on the pencil. Add these sunglasses, which is also an animated GIF. And then over here, at least I thought it was, it's not changing. Add another image from the media library, the serious couple. Put them in there. All right, now we have that section down below. And now we have pretty much the entire thing recreated. And again, just some spacing issues. You can change the width of these images by changing the width right in here, choosing your percentages or choosing the exact heights and widths that you want. And you can adjust things as needed on the page. And what we've done today is recreated this whole homepage using the Neve theme, Elementor, Otter Blocks, and we didn't do any WooCommerce stuff, didn't have time for that. But what we really nailed down was the header and the footer. And had we done the middle section in Elementor or a different page builder, we could have really nailed that as well. But it's important to know how to use Gutenberg. And with Otter Blocks, you can get really, really close to what they have, pretty much exactly once you've adjusted the height and width. But I think we got pretty close to what we wanted. And there you have it. So that's how it works. I hope this video helps you. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss any awesome tutorials published to this channel. And next up is clicking one of these videos that popped up on the screen so you can get even better at WordPress. And until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.